Welcome to the third edition of 5 Questions with LeRoy Butler, who magically and miraculously made it here despite his very busy schedule.
Yeah.
And we're coming off the Packers dominating 34-7 victory over the Buffalo Bills, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about the upcoming game against the 2-0 Chicago Bears.
Bear Week.
Yeah, Bear Week, something you know about, you've been a part of. And we're going to also, in the other segment, the X's and O's segment, look at Mike Martz and what the Packers might be facing with Martz. So let's start out with the Bills game. Number one, this was the first game without Ryan Grant.
Yeah.
And, you know, results, I would say, were pretty mediocre. They averaged about 3 yards a carry, with not counting Aaron Rodgers' scrambles.
Yeah.
Can they get along without a breakaway big-time back? You know?
Well, absolutely, and I'll tell you why. Because the Green Bay Packers are about development. You know, Edgar Bennett is the running backs coach, and he has to have time to develop these guys. No one planned for Ryan Grant not being there. I know a lot of people. The last preseason game against Kansas City, you saw Kuhn getting more carries, and Lumpkin was let go. Well, the Green Bay Packers have been planning for this day, and Kuhn, again, is the backup tailback. Brandon Jackson carrying the load. And combined, you know, Grant normally would get 17, 18 carries. And if you look over the entire NFL, like Chris Johnson and some of these guys last year, they averaged about 23 carries a game. So what the Packers really got, about 20 carries between the two of them. Now, it wasn't spectacular, but it still serves a purpose. And the purpose is, as long as Brandon Jackson is in there, you don't know if the Packers are going to run or pass. So they like the illusion of that. Right. So I'm not so fond of maybe going out and getting a number one. If you go out and get a number one, now Grant's healthy. Next year, now what do? You still got 2 number ones on your staff.
Yeah, but you can't worry about next year. I mean, let's face it, we both saw Marshawn Lynch in that game.
Right.
I mean, that guy is a special player, isn't he? Special runner.
To get a guy like that, you're going to have to give up maybe a first, second, or third round pick, or even another player.
As you well remember, Ron Wolf gave up a second-round pick for Keith Jackson, and that probably put you guys over the top. It was probably the move that put you guys over the top. Packers are a Super Bowl contender. Wouldn't you do that? Wouldn't you deal a second for Marshawn Lynch?
I would have a plan. And my plan would be to get a Marshawn Lynch or Willis McGahee. I would like to steal him. But when I say steal him, because other teams know the Green Bay Packers needs a running back.
Right.
And they're calling. But it's just not at this time to break up the development of Brandon Jackson. It has to be a special back to where I figure it can come in. And you have to look at next year, too, because they are one of the youngest teams in the league.
Yeah.
Now, they can still win by averaging 20, attempts. But when you have number 12, let's not forget, this is a throwing offense. So we're not, just like McCarthy has said, I'm just not going to run the ball to set up the pass.
Okay.
Everybody in the world knows I'm a passing team. I'm going to do what I do. I do my best at passing. So why would I go out and give another guy a long-term deal if I already got a long-term deal in Grant? I got to show Grant that you're still our long-term answer at running back. And to do that, this is what you'll see. Unless a deal comes off that they feel they can steal from another team, and that also happens.
Okay.
I know a lot of the bloggers are not going to like that answer.
I think you're nuts. I would hand a second over for Marshawn Lynch.
I took a lot of hits in the head. But sometimes when you do that, you disrupt chemistry long term. Because Marshawn Lynch off the field isn't the most, pedestrian guy.
Yeah, he's been in trouble. Yeah, there's no question. But they got, Desmond Bishop and Aaron Rodgers both played,
but they're already in the family.
Guys, so
they're already in the family, so we're going to give those guys a pass.
It may be moots. The Bills might not even be willing to trade him at this point anyways.
Well,
but you have to knock their socks off with a deal if you're going to get him.
Well, yeah, and not only was he showcased, so was A.J. Hawk, who had a great game too. So,
okay, well, let's move on. Next issue I want to talk about was Clay Matthews. We saw, that week 1 was not a fluke. This guy beat blocks. He terrorized quarterbacks. He was the real deal again. What's going on with this guy?
Well, he's smarter. if you look at Tom, what he's done on a bootleg play, all week the offensive coordinator was telling Edwards, when you run the bootleg, the fake and you rolling out, you'll be alone and you'll be able to set up and make your throw. Well, guess what? A second-year guy should always take that fake, but he studied to say, when I see a quarterback's name, I slow my rush down, then I burst. And that's good coaching. And as good guy, as good, he already has the pedigree with his father and uncle and all these kind of people. But to me, he brings something that the Packers defense has been missing: violence.
Yeah.
You have not seen that. Even the way that he, attacks the line, and he goes for his sacks and things of that nature. I'm just more than happy that he's on the Packers team. And again, he's a great player.
Total preparation on that play that you're talking about, where he sacked Edwards. He didn't take the fake. He knew to wait, and boom, just got him. Really a nice play.
Most aggressive players take that fake.
Right, exactly. Another area where the Packers seem to be doing okay so far, special teams. Are you surprised how well they've done covering punts? Especially they faced Deshaun Jackson week 1 and Roscoe Parrish week 2.
Well, they also read and see some of the criticism. So as coaches, you got to put your players in a position to make plays. And you also have to understand that you got guys that are playing special teams, that's all they play. So a lot of these guys have, been able to be fresh. Now, Jordy Nelson didn't get a chance to get more opportunities on kick return, but the one he did have, he maybe could have got further if he picked his feet up. But special teams are supposed to be special. They're just not supposed to hurt you. And right now, the special teams are not hurting them. In the past, it really has hurt them. So right now, I think the Packers are okay with their special teams.
Okay. Now here's a subject that I think you'll enjoy, and you will be prejudiced because of what position you play. But let's talk about Morgan Burnett, the rookie safety, playing. I thought that he's very tentative tackling,
to say the least.
And tentative might be a kind word. He could be soft. We don't. That's something he's going to have to. That's a reputation he's going to have to shake. Right. Now we saw he's got ball skills. Took the ball right away from that guy in the interception. Mm-hmm. But the number one thing for a safety is support, right?
Well, yeah,
tackling.
But Tom, times have changed now. You definitely don't have these safeties that run and knock you out anymore. But you don't like to see on film the safeties are turning down plays that they can be aggressive on. Again, I'm okay with it right now because he's the second best safety we have on our team. There is no backup. So would I like to see him flying in there? Sure. But if he gets hurt, then you got to play smart. So I don't necessarily look at it as him being soft. I look at it as him being smart, because he understands the magnitude that I'm the guy. Bigby's not coming for another 4 to 6 weeks. And I got to be very smart when I can pull the trigger. So, again, I expect a lot from the safeties with the Green Bay Packers. They've always had all pros there, from myself, Eugene Robinson, Darren Sharper, and Nick Collins. And I think he can be the mold of another great safety. But until they get a notable backup, I'm not necessarily comfortable with the fact that he can just fly in there and get injured.
But he can't turn down these tackles.
Can't turn them down.
He's got to bring the guy down, go low, whatever it takes to get a guy down.
I mean, because I've looked at film on him exclusively, and I've seen plays that he has turned down and not was aggressive. But I've also seen plays that he does not look like a rookie. He looks like a veteran, and it makes me excited, like the play he made on Sunday. So to me, again, he's the second best safety on the team. I'm glad he's here, and he's going to be a great player. And I'm going to be more patient with him because, again, there is no backup.
Okay. And finally, Packers are facing the 2-0 Chicago Bears. Who would have thought 2-0 versus 2-0, week 3. And really, the Bears have looked like a pretty good team, and I think Mike Martz has got them, rolling on offense. What do you expect in this game?
Well, defensively first, Tom, I think they have the best front seven. And maybe I say top 5 front 7 in the league. These guys are healthy now. Urlacher's back, obviously. Briggs, I mean, is just doing great. Brought in Julius Peppers for a lot of money. That guy's unbelievable. But with the offense, it seems like to me, if you go all the way back and you study Mike Martz, he wants to send out 5 eligible receivers all of the time. Mm-hmm. It's a little arrogance because you tell your quarterback basically, you got to get this ball out before the free rusher hits you. Now, it's compatible to the West Coast offense, but the problem is if he doesn't figure out who's the open guy early enough,
right,
your quarterback can take some hits.
Yeah.
Now, Kurt Warner, when he ran his offense back in St. Louis, he was dynamic with it.
Right.
Jay Cutler, to me, not only has been very good, but he knows when to get rid of the ball. And he destroyed Dallas, who was supposed to be a pretty good defense, maybe a top 10, top 15 defense. But, you know, the one touchdown he threw to Olsen, we're going to break that down later, but he knew his hot read immediately. And he also has emerged forte as a receiver again. Mm-hmm. Last year wasn't so much. So I think that his stats will not only go up, but his confidence will go up because it's kind of a difficult progression to learn. Okay. But once you learn it, the right, receivers and the quarterbacks really flourish in it.
Very fun, very friendly, quarterback friendly if you
yes,
know how to run it. Okay, well, thanks for joining us on 5 Questions, and be sure to go to the X's and O's segment because we are going to talk about Martz and how he's going to probably attack the Packers.
And do not forget to watch me on JS Online every week. And not only that, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel.